Go on then.
So I've got, I can't even remember, I'm so tired. 5 or 6 in my own name, buy-to-let, single-lets, tenant buyers, and I was going to be clever to start with and stagger them so that they buy in my individual capital gains tax years, use the allowance.
Yeah.
Of course, then their plans changed a little bit, and then I'm thinking about refinance. I think I get too hung up about the Section 24 thing as well, at the marginal, where it just takes you over the 50
Yep.
grand, because being self-employed, I try and pay myself very little and so on. And I think I've got so hooked up in the tax tail wagging the dog that I don't look at all the other things, but I'm too tired. But is that a common thing that you get, that people get so hooked up on the Section 24? When, I mean, I wouldn't, if I'd have been hanging around any longer, I wouldn't have bought any properties. I just got on with it.
Yeah, happens a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
people...
think once I come and do, of course, I'll clearly state my questions, because I've got a furnished holiday let that used to be my primary residence.
Yep.
And how do you analyse that relief, because it's now furnished holiday let, so I get entrepreneur's relief, but does that go back to the date of purchase when I was still my married home? Oh,
I'll answer that question for you, because we had a lady on, in fact we've had a couple of people on the course, but one particular lady that sticks to mind, or comes to mind, is she had a property that she'd bought quite a few years ago, and her gain was £450,000.
yeah.
She's a higher rate taxpayer, so she was going to pay 28%, okay, on that particular property, which is quite a lot. And she wasn't too keen with that, so I talked her through how she can change that property into serviced accommodation, run it for a couple of years, and then sell it, claim entrepreneur's relief.
On the whole thing?
Yeah, and only pay.
I didn't realise I'd been so clever.
Only pay 10% tax. Happy with that, or happy-ish?
Yes, no, I'm happy, very happy.
IR35.
Questions?
Yep.
So is it, there are some rules which are changed recently in this one?
Yeah, which is going to make it even tougher for people. Yeah.
So how, is there any way to get around it, or you have to structure something to get around IR35?
So you can use an umbrella company. That is the easiest fix around it. Or you can become an employee.
What is IR35?
So IR35 affects people who are contractors. So what usually happens, generally speaking, is large corporates, but it could be small companies, take on contractors who work for them, and for all intents and purposes they might be employees, but they set up a limited company, for example, and they invoice to the company. So the employer is the contractor, or is the one who gives you the contract. The contractor isn't an employee, therefore the employer, in loose terminology, the employer doesn't pay employers national insurance of 13.8% because they're paying a limited company. The contractor then works 40 hours or however many hours they work, invoice every single week, get the money coming in, and then they draw down on that as a salary and dividends. So HMRC have introduced rules, and these have been in for quite a while, and they just tighten the screws. And they say, if you look like an employee, then we're going to tax you like an employee. And they've got certain criteria, and they just tighten up even more. So from the 6th of April, they've made it even harder. So quite a few of those contractors are either going to become proper employees, or they're going to start using umbrella companies. So yeah, it's going to be...
Umbrella companies, when they give you, they have to do the same thing. They have to deduct the NI contribution and
yeah, but it might still work out better for you like that as opposed to being an employee. So you've got to work out the numbers and see what happens. But I've got a friend of mine who's set up an umbrella company specifically for this. So if you want to look at that, happy to introduce you to him, and he'll work out the numbers for you. So he's got his own umbrella company, yeah? And he's got, I think, 450 odd contractors. He specializes in working with contractors.
And talking about the same thing, somebody said about you somehow work in a trust and you take 90% of your lump sum home, and is there something like that, or?
Trusts are complicated,
yeah.
and we cover them extensively on the 2-day course, but I don't think they should be used in the way that you just described. That's not the real purpose of it. But if you take money out of a trust, the tax rates are usually higher anyway, so you ain't going to get 90% anyhow. because by the time you pay the tax, you'll have less
I
left over.
spoke to one of the umbrella companies and they said we will give you a credit line and this and that. I said, okay, do you have any approval from the HMRC? I said, no, we can't. This is our trade secret. I said, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because they might
Find the exit door and run.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they all say until things go wrong. Yeah. So stay well away from them. Steph, and then we might be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, when you mentioned if you buy from probate, there's no stamp duty to pay. But what does it actually mean by from probate? Just from someone who's deceased?
Yep. So somebody who's passed away,
Yeah.
and then you buy a property through their solicitor. Yeah. And if you buy through a limited company or a limited liability partnership, and you're a property trader, and there's 2 or 3 other rules in terms of the size of the house, can't be more than 0.5 of a hectare, which is pretty big by the way, and you don't spend more than 5% on the refurb, then you don't have to pay stamp duty, land tax. And most people generally who are traders will meet that anyhow. Yeah. But that 5% is 10,000 or 5% of the purchase price, not exceeding £20,000, which is quite a bit. But that excludes any costs for cleaning the property. That excludes costs for bringing the property up to current safety standards. So wiring, plumbing could be outside the scope of that 5%. So as long as you meet those rules, there could be 1 or 2 others that escape my mind. You don't pay any stamp duty, land tax.
But that's only if you're in a trading business, not holding as an investment.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Property trader. So you're gonna flip it on.
Okay, so only when if you keep hold of it,
Then you're not a property trader.
You're not a trader.
Yeah. So buy from probate property which you're gonna flip.
Yeah.
But then you have to pay the capital gains tax on the.
You're gonna pay income tax.
Income tax.
But you're not going to pay income tax. But if you have an LLP, you'd pay income tax.
Yeah.
Most likely, you're going to buy through a limited company, so you're going to pay 19% corporation tax on the profit,
Yeah.
and then use that money to buy the next property. And just keep building it up.
Recycle.
Yeah.
How quickly do you have to flip?
That's up to you how quickly you can flip it.
Yeah, but it couldn't take me 5 years to flip.
No, then we're going to have a problem.
All right. So
Yeah.
if it's
But if you're taking 5 years to flip a property, Steph, you and I need to have a conversation, my friend, and I need to fix your head. And there's a special course for that. But I'll tell you about that later. That's
All right,
yeah.
yeah.
Only certain people qualify, and I think you do.
yeah.
Are we there or thereabouts, Josh? Happy?
Can I just add
Go on then.
one sneaky one to go in with the probate one? Because if you were going to do an assisted sale, as the trader, you might not actually physically own it at the end anyway. Aren't you doing a back-to-back transaction?
So if you do a back-to-back transaction, so you exchange but you don't complete,
Yeah.
you're not going to pay the stamp duty, land tax anyway.
Anyway, exactly. So, an assisted
Yeah.
sale,
So the
if
end
you
person
don't
pays it.
buy then you-
Yeah. So that's another exemption for you. And if you rescue a broken chain, that's another exemption for you. And we can go on here for a long time, by the way.